Takahashi Asahi, having traversed through time and been reborn in an island nation, acquires an extraordinary ability mind suggestion. Is that exhilarating? Indeed, it is immensely gratifying. It's remarkable, yet he only dares to employ it discreetly, enjoying it in secrecy. Soon, however, a tide sweeping across the world approaches. Takahashi Asahi feels a surge of excitement. His official debut is imminent. Upon examining the special provisions on temporary superpowers, it turns out this hypnosis is not classified as a superpower. What then is it? Chapter 1. Shown in high school in April, the cherry blossoms fell prematurely, their delicate petals scattered by a recent rainstorm. The spring breeze was invigorating as Takeda Asahi strode purposefully along the street adorned with soft pink remnants. Upon rounding a corner, his pace faltered upon glimpsing a distant yellow caution tape. However, as his route to school necessitated passing that location, he had no inclination to take a detour. Approaching the gathering crowd near the caution tape, Takeda Asahi found no need for inquiry. The murmurs of the onlookers effortlessly reached his ears. He resided on the second floor. I've seen that man before. He likely lived alone. I believe he was dismissed from his job last year. And I occasionally noticed him late at night at the convenience store purchasing beer. Was he stabbed to death? Goodness. It appears he died the day before yesterday. Today, a friend from the pachinko parlor came looking for him and discovered. Here we go again. Takeda Asahi inwardly clicked his tongue and continued his journey to school. From the world he had traversed, he had occasionally heard that, following several years of economic decline due to a pandemic, Japan's public safety had deteriorated. Yet, in this world, despite having surpassed that critical juncture without a pandemic, the situation in Japan was even more dire than he recalled, having just relocated. This marked the second murder case reported in quick succession, although he had been aware that local safety was mediocre. The frequency of violent crimes in certain areas had escalated alarmingly, even though he recognized that such malevolent occurrences did not directly concern him. It felt profoundly unjust to have paid over a year's rent for such a place. How could one justify such an exorbitant demand? Venturing into a narrow alley, he found himself beside the school's slanted stone wall. Numerous students clad in uniforms, each carrying identical shoulder bags, were already in attendance. As he traversed the alley, a cloud shifted, permitting sunlight to cascade down. Takeda Asahi experienced a moment of clarity, his eyes narrowing slightly. The bustling street was now teeming with even more young boys and girls, their coordinated attire and shared destination creating a vibrant current. The sounds of their chatter mingled harmoniously with the refreshing breeze. Hey, is Sato going to Shonendai? Yes, didn't he know his grades? I see. I thought he was coming to Shonen too. Students who were previously acquainted engaged in lively conversation. Most of the newcomers, lacking familiar faces, curiously surveyed their surroundings as they walked in silence. The pristine and robust uniforms, glistening under the sun, accentuated the softness of their youthful countenances. Among the new arrivals, there was a notable absence of raucousness. Rather, the assembly of youth seemed to absorb all warmth around them, dispelling the lingering chill of spring. Takeda Asahi joined this gathering, his spirits lifting as he did so. Shonen High School. Casting a glance at the plaque beside the school gate, Takeda Asahi stepped onto the campus. In Kanagawa, this institution was esteemed as one of the premier public high schools. Had it not been for his temporal journey and subsequent re-enrollment, he believed he would have found it challenging to gain admission to such a prestigious establishment. The campus buzzed with various clubs soliciting new members. Takeda Asahi skillfully navigated through several students distributing flyers, swiftly crossing the courtyard. He had set a resolute goal for himself, having emerged from an orphanage devoid of financial resources. He needed to secure part-time employment to cover his tuition and maintain his academic standing until he could enter university. If club participation were compulsory, he would simply enroll as a phantom member in some obscure club once school commenced. What did you say? It doesn't seem too bad, right? What? Are you serious? It looks utterly dreadful. The exchange reached Takeda Asahi amidst the din of club recruitment calls. Turning his head, he observed two male students engaged in conversation. The school permitted a relaxed style for ties, making it difficult to ascertain their year, yet it was evident that these two were newcomers. The boy who voiced his complaints sported a typical spiky hairstyle, his appearance and physique unremarkable, though he did distinguish himself slightly with a yellow-black uneven ear stud. He was tugging at his uniform's collar in an exaggerated fashion. Nearby students began to take notice, some pointing and whispering. This reaction was to be expected. It was rather impolite for a junior to publicly critique the school uniform, particularly given the Japanese emphasis on decorum. Takeda Asahi, however, was somewhat taken aback. Ear studs were relatively acceptable among Japanese high school students, yet from his vantage point, he could discern a small blue tattoo peeking from the boy's open collar. Goodness. A seafood aficionado. After a moment's contemplation, Takeda Asahi chose to disregard it and proceeded toward the auditorium. To be fair, the boy's observations were not without substance. The shonen uniform for boys comprised a black-collared suit, commonly known as gakurin in Japan. The term gakurin alludes to Dutch influence. Although the extent of its connection to the Netherlands remains debatable, during the Edo period, Japan frequently appended ran to items introduced from the West. The girls donned dark blue suits in lieu of sailor outfits. Both the gakurin and suits were of mediocre quality, featuring solid colors devoid of plaid skirts for the girls. It was not unreasonable to consider them unfashionable. The school did not typically impose stringent uniform policies, provided that students remembered to wear them during special occasions. However, for Takeda Asahi, this was of little concern. In fact, it was a favorable aspect. Such simple uniforms and a sincere school culture undoubtedly allowed everyone to concentrate on their studies, did they not? Yet, after observing the tattoo emblazoned on the boy's chest, Takeda Asahi began to reassess his choice of school. No, it must be an anomaly. In his previous existence, Takeda Asahi had been a diligent worker, unperturbed by tattoos. Nonetheless, the presence of a seafood enthusiast in middle school was indeed a disconcerting sign. As he passed the classroom building, Takeda Asahi noticed a throng of students congregated around the notice board. Was there an announcement? He approached closer, the discussion becoming increasingly animated. Could it be that this year midterm exams will also? I know a graduate from Shonan. They used to distribute report cards individually. That's trivial. Many high schools publish scores. But will they enumerate so many names? The crowd was not excessively packed, yet amidst the commotion, he was jostled roughly. When he glanced up, he was momentarily taken aback by a pair of golden eyes peering over the rim of glasses directly at him. It's nothing. Takeda Asahi adjusted his glasses and turned to depart, leaving the unfamiliar girl staring blankly at his retreating figure. Such an inconvenience, he muttered. After 5 or 6 years, he still had not become accustomed to wearing glasses. Hey, a smile crept onto his face. Just then, he managed to catch a glimpse of the notice board's content. It was a ranking of the entrance exam results. He had attained a flawless score, securing the top position. His temporal journey had undoubtedly enriched his academic pursuits, and he had devoted significant effort throughout the years, which instilled within him a profound sense of pride. He was not alone in achieving perfection. Remarkably, Jingu Kodoha and Tsuji Mitsuki shared the honor of first place with him, given that his middle school grades had been impeccable. Akin to many of his peers at this institution, his supplementary testing and interview scores had not been particularly outstanding. Otherwise, Takeda Asahi would have received an early invitation to address the new students today. It appears I must remain vigilant and cannot afford to relax as I move forward.